encouraging, inspiring, and empowering mothers on their parenting journey. Welcome to the OHbaby podcast. Being a mum can be overwhelming and unrelenting, we know. Each episode, we'll be bringing you the top tips, advice, and words of wisdom from experts and industry leaders to help you navigate your own path. It's the information you can trust. Mama, you got this.
Welcome to the OHbaby podcast, and we're also on YouTube. I'm Angela Pedersen, founder of OHbaby, and today I get to welcome Mark Edwards, founder of Edwards & Co. To talk
Hi, how's it going?
Hello! To talk about your journey, starting up Edwards & Co. and your family, and now it's this amazing, thriving company. And you're also on your own parenting journey. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. So good to see you. I was telling the girls in the office the other day that I remember being at the very first, or what your probably very first baby show, not the very first baby show, but seeing your range and seeing you on your stand and thinking, oh, this is a new brand. This is, a new intro into the market. And I just thought that the range was just really stylish, really clean, really cool. And to see it doing so well now doesn't surprise me. It's awesome. And also I can see how well it's doing, because down here at the Mount we have quite a keen mum mount walking kind of scene. And Edwards & Co. is everywhere.
Yeah, I see a lot. I've been to Mount and I've seen a lot as well. It's very cool to see the groups. Yeah,
so cool. So firstly, well done. And secondly, so tell us a bit about yourself personally. Who's your family? Tell me about you.
So our family's a two-dad family, so we're kind of unique in that way, but I guess we kind of see ourselves as an ordinary family. I've got a son who's 5. He's just turned 5. He's about to go to school, so tomorrow I've got the school visit. So me and Christian are very so Christian's my husband, sorry. We're very excited about that, and my son is very, very excited about it. And then we have a daughter, her name's Lulu, and she is 1.5. So both of our kids were born by some two amazing surrogates, and we have my sister-in-law who is their mother, their genetic mother. So it's quite a cool little family, a tight family. We're a bit where we don't think of ourselves as a different family, but we are quite a big extended. We are sort of different as well. So it's a really cool dynamic. We live next door to my parents as well, so my kids see my grandparents all the time, and they have their extended family on their surrogate mother's sides and on their genetic mother's sides. And we also have an Instagram page called Love From Your Dads, which is quite popular.
Yeah, I saw it, and you guys look like you have lots of fun.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we can be a bit crazy.
I love that. Hey, that's awesome, and I just love the fact that, it's not just about, dad and dad. It's like the whole wraparound of you guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's just beautiful. It takes a village, and sounds like you've got an amazing village.
Yeah, and it's good, like having role models for all our kids, and it's also just good to have extra help.
Yeah, true. Yes, that is so good. So good. Especially when you've had 5 a.m. wake-ups, huh?
Yeah, and actually I should also mention we've got Kelly as well, who's our au pair, who has been with us for 3.5 years now, who's basically become the family. So the 5 a.m. wake-ups is definitely helpful when she's around to help as well.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So what is your background, and how did Edwards & Co. come to be?
So I actually have a background in HR. Funnily enough, I don't have any design background myself, but I don't let that stop me. So I used to work for Caltex Australia in Sydney And I had various like HR roles in New Zealand and Australia. And I guess 10 years ago, my dad was retiring. He's actually done different baby products over many, many years, like as an importer and distributor. And he said he wanted to retire. So he said he was talking about getting a sales rep, and I said, oh, we'll do it. So we moved back from New Zealand. I got paid minimum wage, lived in my parents' house for a long time. And I just saw like an opportunity. I saw a lady, I heard a story of a grandma who was trying to fold her stroller on the side of the road, and she couldn't work out how to do it. So she left it there, and she left it there and came back, and no one had taken it. It was still there, but it took her, she said she took her about an hour to try and work out how to fold it. And so yeah, prams are quite an aspirational products, and so like there's a lot of, I'm quite a practical person, and if everyone's followed me on Instagram, my husband's a dreamer, and that's why I shouldn't call him a dreamer, but he likes to think of grand things to do, whereas I'm quite back to basics kind of person. So it's probably a little bit of a reflection of my personality. So I just thought there needed to be a product that was more practical and more intuitive for people to use. And not everyone's going to go running, like a lot of brands sell themselves as, oh, you're going to go in the mountains and run with your stroller and it's going to be amazing. Or there are a lot of European brands that kind of gave you I live in a European city and I go on the subway and things like that. Whereas that's not really like the Kiwi lifestyle. So for me, Ebers & Co was about our mission statement's making the smoothest ride possible. So, we don't want people learning how to, you should be able to fold the product without kind of really having to read a user manual or doing 4 or 5 different things to do it. And you shouldn't be stuck in the rain trying to get your baby in a car seat or trying to get your stroller into the car. So we're like all about making things practical. We do a 3-wheeler. Oscar's our most popular product. It's a 3-wheeler, really amazing to walk with. It goes everywhere, but you can take the seat out, reverse it round so you can see your baby, or you can take it out, put your car seat in, or you can click. So everything's click to click and easy to fold. Nice, really big storage basket. Yeah, so that's where we could have came from.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm a bit further on in the parenting journey now, but yeah, the stroller and putting them up and down was kind of the bane of my existence. And even like giving them, to like if the grandparents were looking after the kids and using the stroller, there was a lot of frustration for everybody involved.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of the brands, like they do a lot of really cool videos to make things look really cool, but sometimes it just might not work in reality. So that's kind of where we're just really back to basics. But one customer said to me, like, he thinks that we do just enough that you need but nothing more. So that's probably a good way to describe it.
Yeah. We did what to pack for your hospital bag, and we had your capsule in it.
Yes.
And one thing that really caught my attention because it came here and I did the podcast here, was just how light it was. And that bar that hangs over was very spacious and like it wasn't tight. And it's just so practical.
Yeah. Like little details like that, we're very much, like I think about strollers and baby products all day, every night. It's sort of my detriment sometimes, but and we're all in the office talking about it, and we have the beauty of being a truly New Zealand company that designs products, how we see it in the world, and we're not importing something from the US or, we truly do design every single little element. Like we might spend 5 or 6 times, 7 times to get a fold lock right, or there's lots of different little details that we spend years on sometimes to get it right before we give it to customers.
That's so cool. So what we see has had a lot of thought put into it.
I don't think, but you probably don't realize how much time sometimes it goes. So for example, we just launched Olive in September last year, and that was the 3-year journey to get to where it was. And there was so many details that you have to go through, and obviously safety is the most important thing for us. So we don't try to just to get to the limits of what the government says is the safety standard. We always try to go further. So it does mean more time. And yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Also, as we're talking about, the ease of use, I remember, just out of interest, there was a product at the baby show. It's not on the market now, so I don't know if it did
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going? No.
Is it that self-folding stroller?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a video, like that was in 2015, I think. And I remember seeing the video. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like a really good example. It looked really cool, but I can tell you now it'll be super heavy
Yeah. Yeah.
because it'll have to have the battery pack on it. But yeah, that's like a good example of what I mean. So we're always looking at, the size of the seat. Is it going to be a good size seat? Is it going to have a good size storage basket? Is it going to fold at one time? Like we're not exactly looking for the world's best fold, but we're really trying to look at all the different parameters that make up a product. Because there's a lot of, when you're designing something, there's a lot of I can't remember what the designing word is, but you have to there's a balance. So you could make a gigantic seat, for example, for really big kids or something, but then you have to forego other things, like for doing something like that, you've got to make sure it's safe. So you'd have to have a really low seat to the ground so that it doesn't fall over and things like that. So there's lots of trade-offs that you have to really balance. So that's what we spend time on, is really making sure that that balance is right.
That's awesome. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So my next question was, what's your vision for the brand and range? I feel like we've kind of covered that.
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, our mission statement is the smoothest ride possible. So anything that we can do to make things easier for parents when they go out about and travel. So it could be traveling overseas, but it could be everyday travel, like going to visit grandparents, going to the supermarket, or just going on a really big walk somewhere in the park, and you've got the dog and all the other things. So it's really just making getting out and about easy as possible for people.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw on your, it was either Insta or Facebook page, the Otto in the overhead locker.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
definitely one of our favorite products. Our most highly rated products is Otto. Yeah, and it's really practical for that reason. And the other good thing about it actually is that because it's such a nice square size, you can kind of leave it in the boot of your car, and you don't really know what's there.
yeah.
And then when you're going shopping or when you need it, you can just pull it out. That's what I love about it the most, personally.
Yeah, so good. I remember being in Australia and having a child,
Yeah.
and there was a massive long queue, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I wish I had something here
I
right
know, and some of those airports, I don't know, if you go to Asia, they're really great when you've got kids. They always, hurry you to the front of the queue, and they realize that, holding kids and screaming kids for hours is not going to be that easy. But sometimes I find now, like in Australia, New Zealand, it's quite a bit harder. I'm not saying that they should or anything. I don't want to start a debate, but yeah.
I actually went to one of a different kind of kiosk and just said, "Hey, look, can you have mercy on me? I'm really,
Yeah.
really."
Yeah.
The lady was just like, "No."
Oh God.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you just
Yeah. I know. Especially if it's such a long line and they're hungry and everyone's tired after a flight, aren't they? I mean, actually, that's the great thing about Otto, is that you can lie it flat. So what we used to do was Frankie, when we went on a big trip once to Italy for a month. He was actually a great sleeper, so you could lie it right flat, and we had a nice luxe liner in there, and he could just sleep wherever. So it was just really great for that reason. Yeah.
So good. So in terms of the company, what were some of the turning points with the company, and what built the brand momentum that you have today?
Yeah, the first 2 years of we started in 2014, and as you say, we went to the Auckland Baby Show. And we actually didn't really, like, in the first year, I think we sold 100 strollers, and then the second year we sold like 120, so not like much more or anything. And then it just started to really pick up, and I guess it was probably because people started talking about it and they saying, hey, to their friends, and we see them all the time at baby shows, that they've brought their friends along and they're like, hey, you just really got to get this product, it's the best, you need to get this. And so that word of mouth really started kicking off.
Right.
And then we took quite a big risk in 2017, and we decided to embark on completely redesigning Oscar, which is our best seller, and creating a whole new collection. And it was, I guess it was probably like 12 products, and it was a significant expense in terms of the design fees, but the cost to make like the tooling for making the molds. So it was about $500,000 sort of risk. So we mortgaged my dad's house because we remortgaged my dad's house, and we really like spent 2-3 years just getting that done, and getting it to market. And I guess it just really resonated with people because after that we just boomed, and we were growing at 100% a year, so doubling our sales every year. And so we had been growing. We've been growing at about 50% a year, and we sort of launched in Australia 2 years ago. We have been in Australia a bit longer than that, but we really made an effort in Australia 2 years ago. We opened a Melbourne office, and we have eight staff in Melbourne. Sorry, not in Melbourne, but 8 staff in Australia. And we got assigned a distribution agreement with Baby Bunting last year, and I think it was about August, and they have about 70 stores in Australia. So yeah, like we're just going. It's just been a really amazing ride, and yeah.
So good. Oh, it's such a great Kiwi business success story.
Yeah.
And I love that, Dad put it on the mortgage.
No. Yeah.
It just shows
We had
it's a real
and we also
family.
used to, yeah, and we used to store all our strollers in a farm on a farm. So I think in a shed. So I think people quite like that side of the story too.
Oh, it's so relatable.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love this. So tell me, what are your favorite things in the Edwards and Co range?
I think definitely my favorite product after using a lot of them all is Oscar, which is our most popular product. It's just a really smooth product to use and really great to walk with, and really nice big storage basket. And yeah, like I love them all for different reasons. I really love the real soft stuff we do. We do like a stroller blanket and a sleeping bag, and they're both just super cute products that are really soft, and I don't know, it just gives you that nice feels. Yeah. So I'd probably, but yeah, they're all good for different. Otto is amazing. Obviously, when you go traveling, as I said, we love it because it lies flat, so which is pretty kind of rare for a travel stroller. So our son loves sleeping everywhere. So if you're in the middle of an airport lounge, and you can just put them to sleep, and you don't have to worry about trying to figure out what you're going to do or hold them or something. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
awesome. Cool. So tell us about your design process, like what's involved in a new Edwards and Co release.
Yeah, so we've sort of changed it over the years. I guess it was a little bit of just me going, oh, yeah, I think we should do this, and then I just went up and did it. So we spend a lot of time like working out, talking to customers, I guess, and just understanding what people were looking for. So like for Oscar, for example, we designed it I'd had an industrial designer partner with help me, and then we took it to so China is the best place to make and design and build strollers by far, by any place in the world. So we found a small factory that was a small family business as well, and we designed Oscar together, and they help me with all the engineering, and the strollers are very complicated mechanical products, so you've got to make sure that you can sort of get the mechanical sides of things working well. But yeah, like a lot of time spent on, and then just so much time on the details, as I mentioned earlier, like how easy is it to fold, and how easy is this button to push, and the fabrics. So we spend so much time in fabric. Like we do these tests around saliva, urine, spew, scratching, UV fading, and so there's a lot of testing and a lot of and then like for Olive, which we launched last year, we spent a year on testing just to make sure the product was safe. And it's so a significant amount of resources just to get the details right. And for us, the most important thing is safety, obviously, but also just long lasting. So that's why we do so many of those sort of fabric tests. The fabric is probably the first place to wear any sort of exposure to stuff, because it gets to see the most of the elements. So
and all the food.
All the food, all the food scraps, spew, as I said, spew, wee, everything.
All the things.
Yeah.
And also, there is the potential for that to go from one baby to the next. So
yes.
Longevity is really important too.
And like sustainability is one of our focuses, big focus for us at the moment. And so our view on sustainability at the moment is, where we can, is to recycle products, but longevity is the most important thing from our side. So even though you might need to use a petroleum-based product somewhere, if it's going to last 4 times longer than something else, which like, for example, corn or something that still takes a lot of resources to make, then you're better off to go for the long lasting and recyclable options as well. So we recycle the product after its end of life and things like that.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So what do you want new parents to know about purchasing strollers? What should they be looking for?
Well, so like as I said earlier, I'm not a dreamer type person. I'm kind of like that, just keep back to basics.
Yeah.
So I think something easy to fold, something light, and really based on your lifestyle. So if you're going to go in the car a lot, or if you're really a person who wants to go walking and get out and about, then have a think about how nice it is to push as the fold. And I guess as well, like when customer service, so like if you have a problem, how are you going to get it fixed? As people local, if they've got a local base that they can do it. We do like service center across the country, which service center days. So we send our technicians out to help people service their strollers, to make sure that they look after them properly, and if there's any problems, they can help with those sort of things. So I think practicality and service is really important. Back to basics, as I say.
Nice.
Yeah.
So at the end of our podcast, we asked this a question to everyone, and that is, what is one thing you swore you'd never do as a parent that you totally do now?
For me, it would be like using food as a bribe. Like, finish your dinner, otherwise you're not going to get dessert. And I just never thought I guess I'm sensitive to food. I sort of have an emotional attachment to food, but I just said I'd never do it, but I definitely do. I don't know who does it. If you can not do it. I've read so many things about how to don't use it to give them a smorgasbord of food and give them the dessert together with their things. And I know with my son, as soon as if you give him his dessert with the food, he's just going to eat the dessert. So I don't know. Anyway, that's probably me.
I so relate. I even bribed my kids to go up the mountain this morning with with like smoothies and breakfast.
I would do it. I'd definitely do it if someone gave me that as a bribe.
Yeah. Oh, well, next time you're down here, I shall bribe you.
Yes. I love it. Yeah, I do. I love a good smoothie. I really love a good brunch.
Same. Okay. Well, hey, it's been awesome to meet you. Awesome to hear the brand story and your family story. So cool. And
thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Have a great rest of your week.
I will. See you later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the OHbaby podcast. If you've found this episode useful and encouraging, make sure to share it with your village so that more mothers can feel empowered. Head to ohbaby.co.nz for more from us, and don't forget to subscribe. Mama, you got this. Till next time.